All right, today we're going to talk about how to connect emotionally with your ex. Okay, so over the past couple videos, you may have heard me talk about connecting emotionally with your ex, how this is important, why this is important, but how do you actually do this? I don't want you to be focusing on that at the expense of the emotional connection between the two of you. So one of the things I mentioned before is that if both of you can be present with one another, this is truly fundamentally important. One of the advanced relational skills is called awareness, present moment awareness. And it's actually at the foundation of all of this. Because if you can just show up and actually be emotionally present with someone, that is going to take you so much further than, being up in your head, analyzing signs, analyzing body language things, analyzing text messages, analyzing, all this sort of stuff. It's going to do you so much better than being up in your head, thinking about all the reverse psychology tricks and tips and things like that you've heard about maybe from some other people online or something along those lines. Because really, what you want to be is basically a blank slate. You want to just show up and say like, hey, I don't know what it's going to be like to interact with you. I don't know what it's going to be like on this phone call or this little date that we're having or this meetup or even in this text message exchange here. I'm not going to have some sort of agenda of trying to make it look or seem a certain way. I'm not going to have this agenda of trying to, win some sort of reverse psychology game or some mind game thing that we're doing. I'm not going to try and make it look romantic if it's not. I'm not going to try and make it look like we're together if we're not. I'm not going to make it try and look like we are getting along so much better than your rebound if we're not. I'm just going to show up and be a blank slate, and I'm going to be totally receptive to however this moment is going to begin here, right? We can talk about how it's going to move forward later on, but at least show up and be totally present without some sort of agenda, without trying to make it seem or look a certain way, without being trapped up in your head, trying to look for signs or cues or clues or overanalyze things or walk on eggshells or whatever. But just show up and just say, okay, here I am. Let's talk. What's going on, right? And that's going to help you so much because it's going to allow you to actually be paying attention to what's going on. So many people miss out on amazing opportunities to connect with their ex because they're so busy analyzing the wrong things. They're too busy looking for body language cues or what did that emoji mean when they texted me this, that they totally miss obvious opportunities to get curious and ask questions about like, oh hey, when you said you were concerned about your mother's health, like what's going on? Or that must be really difficult for you. Tell me more about that. Or things along those lines, right? If you just actually are present, you can catch these things because you're actually there. You're actually there to see the expression in their face or hear the concern in their voice or whatever it might be, as opposed to, overanalyzing 1,000,001 different clues or trying to force it to seem like, hey, I slid in that reverse psychology thing that Coach so-and-so told me to do or something like that. The next thing that you want to do to connect is to actually just remember that your ex is a human being. I know that you get this, and I know that you're all enlightened people, and you're not gonna, treat women as objects or treat men as objects or anything like that. I know that we all intellectually know that our partner is a human being, but do we actually emotionally experience them that way? So many times we have the tendency to either put our ex up on a pedestal of saying like, oh, here's this person who holds the keys to my happiness. They have the power to either commit to me and give me unending joy or to reject me and send me into the depths of despair and damage control mode again forever or whatever the case might be. But you have to remember that your ex isn't this type of person, whether they're someone you put up on a pedestal or they're a man, therefore they're this way, or they're a woman, therefore they're that way, or they're an avoidant attachment style, therefore they're this way, or something like that. Instead, just say, hey, this is a person. This is a person who's going through this confusing, overwhelming thing called life, and they're just trying to figure this out the same way that I am. They feel fear, they feel uncertain, they feel joy, they feel hope, they feel optimism, they feel concern, they feel a little bit awkward sometimes, they feel anxious sometimes, just the same way I do. And if you can focus on these commonalities rather than on all the millions of things that people are saying make you different or separate or unable to relate to one another or something like that, you're going to do so much better. So just remember that this is a person just like you, having an emotional experience just like you. This is a person who's experiencing all the same emotions that you probably are and then some. And if you can remember that, you're not going to put them on a pedestal or look at them like some sort of alien specimen you have to study because, well, geez, I'm anxiously attached and you're an avoidant attachment style person. Therefore, we have nothing in common and can't relate as human beings. We have to learn some sort of secret Morse code to be able to communicate with one another or something like that, right? Just get through all of that and say, hey, you're a human, I'm a human, let's connect. Let's talk about our feelings, right? The third thing is that you want to be able to actually have composure. You want to be able to know what you are about, know what you're going for, know what your limits are, know what your boundaries are, and enforce them when needed, right? The easiest way to talk about this is to talk about how people often mess this up. People often mess this up in one of two ways. One is that they collapse. That is to say, they tend to contort themselves or morph themselves into something that they think is going to be appealing or pleasing to their ex. They're basically doing a doormat thing. They're doing a people-pleasing sort of thing. They're doing a nice guy sort of thing, regardless of whether or not you're a man or a woman. I mean, I think you know what a nice guy is. And that's one way to do it. That's what we call collapsing. The other way to do it is by posturing, basically by puffing yourself up and pretending to be something other than you're not, other than what you are. This is where a lot of the macho bad boy stuff comes from. That's fine if you legit are a macho bad boy, but if you're putting on some sort of act, then it's posturing. Other forms of this are pertaining to always be happy. You hear this advice that says, always be happy around your ex because they'll have a great time and they'll want to have you in their life or something like that. Again, that's fine if you legit are always happy, but if you're, putting on an act, pretending to be a circus clown or something to amuse them and entertain them and all that sort of stuff, then it's fake. You're basically just lopping off a certain portion of your humanity and saying it's not okay for me to feel sad, it's not okay for me to feel this way, it's only okay for me to be a macho bad boy, or it's only okay for me to be happy all the time, or it's only okay for me to pretend like I'm high status or like I'm hard to get or something like that. Again, all of that stuff is okay if it's legit, but if you're just putting on some sort of act or performance piece, then it's fake. And it's not actually composed with who you are. It's not a true reflection of what's going on for you. It's not a true reflection of what you're about. It's not a true reflection of what you want and where you're going. So why do all of that? Let's cut the BS and show up authentically with one another. And then the fourth thing is learning how to communicate with one another in an effective sort of way. Of course, it's a lot of this is going to take care of itself on its own as you start to work through these other three things. But we want to be able to communicate effectively by being very intentional about our words, the word choice that we have as we're talking to someone, so that we are understanding how we are sending messages out to them and how it's likely to be received, and also how we are receiving messages from them. And so these four things are really the components of what we call advanced relational skills. This is the foundation of what we talk about inside of our course called the X Solution Program. You can find info on that over at modernlove.life/ESP or down in the link in the description box for this video. But this is our course that we've been helping people with for over 10 years now. It's been out since 2011, and it's helped countless people actually get back together with their exes. So many times people have actually signed up for this course, gone through it, done what it recommends, taken on the advanced relational skills, connected better with their ex, and been able to actually save their relationship. And these people have gone on to, get married or start families together and all that sort of stuff. And that's the kind of stuff that really is truly humbling to me, is when people send us some sort of update. Oh, hey, yeah, we're actually married. Oh, hey, we're having a kid. There's a human life that's coming into this world because I was able to figure this relationship stuff out, in part because of, what I learned from Clay. That's the truly humbling stuff, to be honest with you. Anyway, if that sounds like it's a good fit for you, head on over to modernlove.life/ESP or the link down in the description. Check it out. If it seems like a good fit for you, hey, sign up. If it's not a good fit for you, no worries. I totally get it. Anyway, this is how to connect with your ex. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time.